Hello, we are going to debate about Conscientious objector. The movie that we saw, Hacksaw Right, is about conscientious objector. This refers to an individual that claims his right to refuse perform military service, normally because of his politics, his religious beliefs, or his philosophy.
Well, our first question to start this Socratic debate is, do you think that Desmond's actions and beliefs were incorrect? I think that not. I think that the fact that Desmond was a conscientious objector make him to see the war in a different way than all of the soldiers, because he was always trying to help others. He was always trying to, well, to help his country, but not by using weapons, because he had a past that affects all of his ideas, his beliefs, and the fact that all of his family was Catholic or believe a lot in God made him to see that weapons are not the answer, and that he could help his country, he could help all of the soldiers that were his mates in a different way.
Well, in my opinion, I think it was really good that he followed his religion or his thoughts, but I think it is in some way a little bit unconscious, because but if that was my case, I would at least take a knife or something like that, because you never know when your time is coming. But I think I really admire this guy because of his movements.
Of course, his decision was kind of dangerous because he had nothing to defend himself. He was trying just to help others and without weapons. So this was a result of his beliefs. He was a religious person.
What do you think, Juanito?
Yes, I think that it was okay. I respect his decision because if we hate him, that means that we discriminate him. Um, I think that was risky, but was okay. I think so.
Okay.
Well, I'm in the side that Desmond does took, because in that time the world was controlled by the war, anger, and destruction. And for a man that wants to protect his country but without violence, it's a great example that not all problems are solved with violence. And without him, more soldiers would have died, because he was the only one that risked himself for other ones. And I think it's too risky, because what you say, I agree with you. You you have to take at least a knife.
Yeah, I would agree with Rodrigo and Adrian, because yeah, it was very risky for him to go to war without any weapon, without a knife, without a small gun, without anything. But it was very brave for himself, because he always stayed strong with his beliefs. He always fought for what he believed, and the fact that all of the soldiers start beating him at the beginning of the movie, or the fact that they took them to the judge just to kick him out of the army. He was very brave from himself to always support that, and from always to defend his beliefs. Don't you think?
Yes, I really think that. And to see every every shot and every explosive and all the blood in the war, and without being in there any time before, I think it is really brave. And without having anything to defend himself from that, it is really brave.
Yeah, I completely agree.
Yes.
Okay, I have another question for you. That is, what would happen if the Japanese had in their side a conscientious objector like Desmond? What would you think? What would happen if they had?
I think that this scenario is not very far away than we can think about it, because let's remember that during the movie, Desmond found a Japanese when he was under the grass, when he was on the caves, and this Japanese person, well, Desmond helped him, he cured him. However, this Japanese could only scream and well, snitch on Desmond. He could say that there was an American person in the caves, and easily this could have killed Desmond. However, he stayed quiet and helped Desmond. So I think that if the Japanese had another conscientious objector, maybe more Japanese would be alive and not only Americans.
Yes, and I also think that the war of the Japanese against the United States will be more pacified and will be better, I think so.
Okay.
Well, I do
Yes,
agree
I.
about. Okay,
Carlos.
you go, really. Okay. So I do agree with both of you that more lives would be saved, and if every soldier would think like Desmond's, maybe like, dude, we don't have soldiers that want to fight each other, so it could be like a way to end war on a pacific way.
Yes, I think if Desmond would be conscient that there is another how do you say it? I'm
Conscientious
sorry.
objector.
Conscientious objector, sorry, they would try to join forces to make a little bit of peace or even to stop war and get to an agreement.
Yes, because in the movie they say that the Japanese they were only there to die, and if there would be an objectus or a conscientious objector in their side, there would be more reasons for them to live.
Well, I think that we can all agree that the fact that a conscientious objector was in war was a positive factor during war for the Americans because he saved a lot of lives. He, without carrying any weapon, have an impressive participation during the war. So I think we can all agree that the fact that there was a conscientious objector like Desmond was an extra point for all the Americans. Thank you.
I really agree.